Hey guys, welcome to SST Guru, and now we are going to deal with the lesson Resources and Development Part 4. This will be the last part of our series in Resources and Development, and now I'm going to deal with the most awaited topic, soil types of India. So you can always be sure one or two questions can easily pop up from this topic, and I have prepared a table in which you can easily remember all the nutrients that are available in the soil, and we'll see that as we go on. So let's get started. And yes guys, now I know your exams are close, and I cannot make all the presentations for the lessons which are coming to your exam in this short time. So I have one thing for you, one exciting thing. You can message me your queries on Facebook, and I'll reply to you in 12 hours, and my reply is guaranteed. Okay, I'll reply to you within 12 hours, and it can be from any chapter that is going to come for your exams. Fine guys, all the best for your exams, and now let's get started with the soil types of India. Now, first of all, the most important soil of India, and the most important, why I say most important, is because this is a soil in which you grow the majority of crops which you eat every day, rice and wheat. Okay, so that soil is alluvial soil. Why alluvial soil is so important is because you can grow literally all the major cash crops in that. And now in all the soils which we are going to study, we will see these four factors: how it is formed, its features and properties, crops that can be grown, and geographical extent of it. Okay, and now the map question can crop up to you in this geographical extent, and this crop can be asked as a separate question. Properties can also be a separate question, and its formation can be a separate question. So basically with a soil you can get four different types of questions, and this is just this four different things which you need to remember. So first of all, let us say how it is formed. How is alluvial soil actually formed? So you should have seen my Resources and Development Part 3, in which I told you how soil is actually formed. So in that I would have told you that soil is formed because of different action by rivers, air or sun or anything maybe. Okay, and also it also depends upon the type of rock from which it gets formed. Okay, so first of all, alluvial soil is formed by the action of rivers. Okay, and because of the action of the rivers, you find sand, silt and clay majorly occupying this alluvial soil. So let me tell you one small thing. Alluvial soil is formed due to rivers. So in the map question, you can easily plot it. You can easily mark alluvial soil in the areas where you can find rivers. Easily you can find Ganga, Brahmaputra, Yamuna, Kaveri and all. You easily know it. So in those regions you find alluvial soil. Simple, fine. So in the next point is, in the upper portion of the river valley the soil is coarse, and in the lower portion of the river valley the soil is fine. Why is it like that? First of all, you understand how the river flows. The river comes from the mountains to the plains, and then it goes to the oceans. Fine. In the mountains you literally have almost no soil, so the mountain is being broken into small pieces, and those are known as cores. You can assume that cores is something like this big. Okay, this big soil, and fine is something like this. So in the lower valleys, in the region of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, you have fine soils, whereas in the region of Uttarakhand and all, you have coarse soil. Fine. That is the reason why some soil is coarse and some soil is fine. Okay, coming on to the next point. What are the features and properties of alluvial soil? We have just two or three things to remember here. Very simple. You have Khadar and you have Bangar. So one is new alluvial soil and other is old alluvial soil. So what is this new? What is this old? Let me explain it to you with a small diagram. Please pay your attention here. So assume that the river course is like this. Now presently the river is flowing like this. Okay, and what happens is, when the river flow is less or something, here the soil deposited is completely new. It has been just denuded. But once upon a time, assume about 50,000 years before, the river would have been much larger. That means the river would have been flowing from this it would have been this wide. So the soil which is here is old alluvium soil. It got deposited around 50,000 years before, and this is getting deposited just now. So the one which got deposited just now is called Khadar, and the one which got deposited some centuries and centuries ago is known as Bangar. Okay, and now we have just three things to remember here. What are all the contents of that soil? Is you have potash, phosphoric acid and lime. Okay, three things, and at the last we have the table for this, so don't worry. And the crops that can be grown, as I said you earlier, you can grow paddy, wheat and sugarcane. You see, all these three are extremely important for the survival of any Indian. You just cannot be eating without any paddy or wheat in your food. Just one day, you imagine. So now coming to geographical extent, you basically have it in the Himalayan river system, coastal plains and deltas of coastal rivers. You just see here, this is alluvial, right? So this is the very image which is given in your book, and you see why you have alluvial soil over here. You have Brahmaputra here like this, you have Ganga, Yamuna and numerous number of river systems over here, and you also have some alluvial soils in the coastal plains. Here you have the Kaveri Delta and all, and this is why you have alluvial soils around the rivers, and you have it in the coastal plains because you have deltas of Krishna, Mahanadi and many other rivers in the eastern coast of India. So that is the geographical extent of alluvial soils. Now coming on to the next most important soil, that is the black soil. So this is the very image of the black soil, and let us start with the first point. How it is formed? It is formed basically because of the climatic conditions. Okay, so there is no action of river here, just because of the climatic condition. And the parent rock material matters here the most, and it is basalt or lava. You should have known that the basaltic plateau, that's how they call the Deccan Plateau's major part in the northwestern part of Deccan Plateau is made up of lava. Okay, so when this basalt rock is being denuded because of climatic conditions, you get soil that is the black soil. It is now coming on to the features and properties. It is basically black in color. It is black in color, so only you called it black soil, right? And it is extremely fine and clay material. Okay, fine, and it holds the capacity of moisture. It holds the capacity of moisture. They are rich in soil nutrients like calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash, lime. That's okay. You have the table over there, and it's very sticky in nature. So with this, I would like to tell you something. Cotton is a plant in which the roots need to be aerated, and also it needs to be it also needs to have some water content always in it. So what happens in this is, you see there are cracks here in this black soil. Okay, so that will help in the aeration of the roots of the cotton plant, and also as it is clay, the lower part of the soil holds a lot of water. Okay, as it is a clay material, you know, the clay will not allow the water to go down, so that is the reason we grow cotton here. So now I have also answered you a question: what are the different types, or what are the different conditions that are required for cotton to grow effectively? Okay, there are just two conditions: the root should be aerated and the root should have some water content in it. Okay, fine. And as I said you earlier, it also have cracks. Okay, and now that's it. We have finished with black soil, and now coming on to the geographical extent. Here, as I said it is in the plateau region, right? So here is the plateau region, the major northwestern part of the plateau of India. We have black soil, and in this black soil, it is formed because of the climatic region, climatic effect on it, and here you grow cotton. Okay, so this is very simple, right? Now coming on to the next type of soil, that is the red and yellow soil. In this, the first point, as usual, it is because of the crystalline igneous rocks and weathering. The crystalline igneous rocks, and when it gets weathered, you get the red and yellow soil. What is an igneous rock? An igneous rock is something which get condensed from a volcanic eruption. That's it. That's what you call it, as an igneous rock. And now weathering, the usual factors of weathering like the rain, climate, river action and whatnot. You see the third part of resource and development to understand what is weathering. Okay, and now coming on to the features and properties of red and yellow soil. Now naturally black soil, it is black in color, so you call it black soil. You have here reddish in color, sometimes it is red, sometimes it is yellow, so you call it red and yellow soil. Simple. So in red color, why it is red in color? That is the next question. It is because of the diffusion of iron or iron. So whenever you have some iron content, naturally it will get red in color. Just to remember this, I'll tell you one small thing. You have iron content in your blood, you have hemoglobin. What is the color of your blood? It's red, right? So same thing, red soil has iron content, so it is red in color. Fine. Now coming on to the yellow color. So why you get this yellow color? You get this yellow color because when the soil is hydrated to a high extent, the iron gets leached. Leached means you have the soil here. This is the top layer of the soil. When more and more water is being poured, or there is a heavy rain, what happens? The nutrients, that is the iron here, is being dragged down to the lower substrata of the soil. Okay, so initially the iron was here, and now because of excessive water and leaching, they would call it, the iron is now here. So what happens is that this top layer of the soil is devoid of any iron content, so you get the color of the soil to change, and the color it changes is to yellow. Okay, and now what are the crops that can be grown here is corn, grapes, and some flowers and vegetables. Naturally you see they will be rich in iron content. Okay, and now where do you find it is in the eastern and western part of the Deccan Plateau, Odisha, Chhattisgarh and all. And you see here, this is the red and yellow soil. So you have it here in Odisha, Chhattisgarh, some parts of Jharkhand, Andhra Pradesh, now the newly formed Telangana, most of the parts of Tamil Nadu, and most of the parts of Kerala. And one more thing which you need to remember here, and that can be a tricky multiple choice question to you. You see here in the northeast India, the major soil of northeast India is not alluvial soil, but the major part of northeast India is red and yellow soil. The major part of the soil in northeast India is the red and yellow soil. Okay, so I think that's it. You have, as I said you before, it is in the eastern coast and western coast, most of the parts of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and whatnot. It's very simple, right? And now coming on to laterite soil. Laterite soil, the formation is because of high temperature, high rainfall and intense leaching. Leaching is what I said you before. You see there are three factors here: very high temperature, very high rainfall and high leaching. Everything is high. Okay, then if everything is high, you remember it's going to be laterite soil. The features and properties are not much here. You see you have intense leaching here, and naturally you won't get that many nutrients in it, so it has very low humus content. Okay, and now the crops which can be grown here are tea, coffee, cashew nuts. That's it, very simple. Okay, just these three crops can be grown in a laterite soil. And the geographical extent for this, you see, is here. The laterite soil are found in the parts of Tamil Nadu, in the eastern coast, western coast of India, and in some parts of Kerala, Odisha. And here basically the regions which have, you understand like this, the regions which have high rainfall, high temperature, and naturally you will lose all your nutrients and you give way to laterite soil. And now coming on to arid soil or desert soil. Okay, so naturally you have a dry climate, high temperature. I need not tell you to imagine how soil would be in Rajasthan. Okay, the soil will be very gravel in nature. It will easily fly off. It does not have any moisture. Okay, and the aerial erosion here is very high. So now let's see some features and properties of arid soil. It contains salt. Okay, high amount of salt is present in it, and it is red and brown in nature. You could have easily seen from the films, it's sometimes red in color, sometimes brown in color. It is very sandy in texture. This is also what I told you. It is saline in nature, Okay, and now the lower horizon is occupied by conker, and the conker. Let me tell you what is conker. Conker is just small nodules like this, and it has high calcium content. Okay, so you have high calcium content at the lower horizon. You just see everything is interrelated here. Now, first what I said is it contains salt. Calcium salts are present. Okay, conker is present means calcium salts are present, so you'll write this point, these 3 points are over. And again you have it is a saline nature, so whenever water evaporates, it leaves back its salts and naturally it becomes saline in nature. It is red and brown in color, you can see it from films, and you know it is going to fly off. That means it's sandy in structure and it does not have any water content. And you know, the crops that can be grown here is dates. You always remember the dates of Oman or any other Middle East country. It is famous for dates. Okay, so it's very simple. You can remember the crop, the properties, and how it is formed. Okay, now coming on to the geographical extent. Oh, I missed it. So coming on to the geographical extent, you find it here. This is the part where you have the arid soil, western part of Rajasthan. You don't have any other rivers here. Okay, most of the part of Rajasthan is covered with arid soil. Fine. Now coming on to forest soil. In forest soil, the basic feature that determines the formation of forest soil is heavy rainfall. Okay, so if you have very heavy rainfall and you have a lot of trees over there, then you have forest soil coming there. And the forest soil is synonymous to mountain soil. Okay, forest soil and mountain soil are one and the same almost. So now what are the properties is this? Texture varies according to the mountain environment where they are formed. Okay, so this is very simple. So consider this to be a mountain, and now you have soil, some soils over here, some soils over here. Okay, fine. So what is the difference between these two soils? Here the soil will be somewhat big in nature. Okay, it will be highly big in texture, and here you have it in a fine texture. Here you have a coarse grained in the upper here the soil is coarse and here the soil is fine. That's what they say in these two lines. And if the soil is going to be covered by snow for most of the time, then it is going to be acidic and naturally low humus content. So how can you develop the humus content? Humus can be developed when there is some organic matter which is decaying. You have leaves that are going to decay in the soil, then naturally the soil gets high humus content. And as the soil is being covered by snow in case of a higher altitude, then the soil is going to get acidic. Usually you remember that the soil is basic in nature, and if the soil is not in contact with the atmosphere, or it does not get water flowing through it, then it slowly starts turning into acidic. Okay, and fine. Now coming on to the crop that can be grown in this type of soil, you remember the crops that can be got from the Himalayan regions. And you have the Darjeeling tea, and you have the teak forest over there. You have coffee, and you can know the eucalyptus forests are found all over the mountains in the southern regions if you are in. So here you have the forest and mountain soils and the whole part of Kashmir, and you have Sikkim and some part of Arunachal Pradesh here. So that's it guys. Now we are completed with the forest and mountain soils. Now as I told you, I had prepared this table for you, and the source of this is nowhere else, just from your NCERT textbook. So the alluvial soil, what it contains and what it lacks. And now you see the alluvial soil contains nitrogen, potash and humus, and it lacks in phosphorus. Okay, and coming on to the black soil, I had taught you already this in the previous slide, so just I'll go fast here because you are in lack of time. You're having your exams near. Fine. In black soil you have potash and humus, but you don't have nitrogen and phosphorus. In red soil you have only potash, you don't have humus, and it lacks nitrogen, phosphorus and humus. And in laterite soil you have potash and iron in excess. You understand this? Okay. And you don't have nitrogen, phosphorus and calcium. Arid soil has high calcium, it lacks nitrogen and humus. Saline soil has sodium, potassium in excess, and it does not have nitrogen. So this is a very tough table to remember. Okay, so you remember like this. First of all, humus content, you remember just two soils have high humus content, alluvial and black soil. You see this humus content in alluvial and black soil. Okay, and except arid soil, all soils have potash. You see this alluvial soil has potash, black soil has potash, red soil has potash, laterite soil has potash, and of course saline soil also has potash. Okay, fine. And next, here you come. Now what it lacks is almost all soils lack phosphorus. You see alluvial soil lacks phosphorus, black soil lacks phosphorus, red soil, laterite soil, all these soils lack phosphorus. Okay, and calcium is lacking in just one soil, that is a laterite soil. So why I am teaching you this is because you can just get 1 or 2 MCQs from this. Okay, so in that case this can be of high useful to you. You need not mug up the whole table. Okay, you just remember what contains humus, what does not, what contains potash, or just what does not contain potash. You just remember that arid soil does not contain potash, and you will know all of the soil contains potash. Okay, and likewise most of the soil lack phosphorus. Okay, and nitrogen is present only in alluvial soil. Okay, so you just do some small analysis with this table and you will be well versed with this, and you can easily solve that 1 or 2 questions that come in your exam. Okay, so note down, now don't worry about this table. I will put this table in the Facebook. Okay, and now if you like the podcast and if you think it helped you, then please like this podcast besides the below this video. Okay, and you can always message me your query and I will reply to you in just 12 hours. And this I have done specially for your exams. You have your exams, so you message me any query and I will reply to you, and you share it with your friends because all friends cannot afford tuitions. You subscribe to SST Guru so that whenever I make a new video and upload it, you can get it as an update in your YouTube channel, in your YouTube. Okay, fine. You can like me in Facebook to get instant updates in your newsfeed itself because you log in more into Facebook than YouTube. And now you can comment to interact with me with your doubts and suggestions, and hit the like button below if you like this video and to encourage me in doing more videos. So guys, thank you, and all the best for your exams.